Good day, good day, good day. This is Mr. Anderson. People, we're living in different times. Things have changed in good ways and bad ways. We just have to figure out what that means for us. I do a lot of self-analysis or self-check. And sometimes it's hard because it's like, man, am I really... Because I'm so exhausted from just constantly, and I know I'm not the only one, just constantly having to push and push and push and push to get crumbs or just to get the minimum. That sometimes it gets tiresome, and it takes not just physically but mentally. It's just get mentally exhausted. And where I am now, like I'm behind on a lot of stuff, and that's causing me some anxiety, but I have to get that under control as well.
500 feet, turn right onto Antioch Pike.
And really focus on what I can do to better myself and create my system and use my systems to work for me. Yet, y'all know my industry I'm in. I'm in the trucking industry. I'm actually a driver manager, loving my job. We do the entertainment side of trucking for a lot of just entertainment side. Going to different venues, going to different stadiums and stuff. But anyway, as I'm seeing the trucking industry change and companies are starting to look at autonomous trucks and starting to look at autonomous trucks and figure out ways, and companies are losing money, and it's just a lot going on right now with everything changing and all the stuff happening overseas, and gas prices going up, and the cost of living is going up, housing, like everything is going up besides our wages. And that's one of the things that I'm big on. And I think that's one of the things is like, I know that to get to where I want to be, I can't depend on just a company. I can't just depend on working for someone. We have to figure out ways, whether it's investing or side hustles, side jobs.
500 feet, take the ramp on the right toward Nashville.
Whatever it is that we have to figure out. But that also has a mental and a physical drain on you,
take the ramp on the right toward
because
Nashville.
of what you have to do and go through to get that. So, man, it's like times are changing, man. It's just things have changed. We have to try to adapt the best we can and find that strength within ourselves to push. And I'm finding a newness in myself, and when I'm out with my children, the weekends that I get them and the days that I get them, we're out doing things, and it's like I'm exploring different places, and it's bringing out the big kid in me as well, and seeing these different programs and seeing these different things. We do need help. It's okay to need help and guidance in certain sense, because we need that right now, because there's so much craziness in this world. It's hard to do it alone, and that's finding a partner or business partner or spouse or a group of friends that we can all invest in each other and invest in something that we all believe in, and use that to grow wealth for ourselves and our family. You know, as I'm out here where I live, I remember there was nothing. You know, there was nothing 5, 6, 10 years ago, and now it's the whole community, and the atmosphere's changed, the people's changed, the dynamic of everything has just pretty much drastically changed. And it's like, man, I was talking to my best friend. Me and him were out, and a friend of mine, a co-worker of mine, like a little sister for me, to me. You know, we were sitting, 2 separate occasions, but it was pretty much the same thing. Like, we really want more. You know, we really want to do more. And she was saying how people are starting to see her worth, and how they're actually giving the older guys or the people, women, are giving her more tasks to do, to train her up to be something else. And it's good to see that. It's good to get that help that you need. Sometimes we take stuff like that for granted.
In 1 mile, keep
But
left to stay on Interstate 24 West toward Interstate 40 West, Nashville.
it takes that effort that we give to receive what we need sometimes, and sometimes it's hard. And that's where my blessing was. My blessing was this job. I enjoy my job. I enjoy what I do. Yet I still want more. And I've had to calm myself down a little bit, to not to push myself too hard, because I've been mentally exhausted. And you know, I talked to ChatGPT, and she said the same thing. She was like, yeah, I've been pushing for so long that it has took a mental and physical toll on me. And I have to slow down for a minute to get to where I need to be. And that's all about me aligning myself. And then we're talking about my best friend, me and him were talking about like relationships, and talking about relationships and the expectations of the relationships, and how, especially at our age, he's a little bit younger than I am, with no children, but still, it's like he still wants more, and get to a certain point where we ain't got time to be playing around. We ain't got time to be babysitting. You know, if you want willing to help and help us all grow, let's grow. But if you're not, there's no sense in doing certain things and putting yourself in a certain situation, especially with all the stuff that's going on. You know, we can't get drained from external systems and then get drained from internal systems that we have around us. So, you know, that's you're doing double the work. But it's just, things have changed. People's mentality has changed. And I see it with some of these drivers that I see. The trucking industry has changed. And that's one of my biggest love is truck driving. Trucking. You know, I love that I have the guys that I manage, or so far the guys that I've met, men and women that I've met, once they know that I've drove trucks, I can see it's a little bit, I get more respect. Especially when they see that I drove for over 20 something years. They be like, man, so you know what you're doing, you know. And then even in my job, they're like, you know, I'm a big value to the company, you know, to that. So, but we have to figure those things out that we can use to our benefit, to get extra, to do more, to be more. But it's tiring, man. It's so tiring. Yet what gives me my energy back is me spending time with my children. It's like I become a kid again. And those days that I don't see them for 4 or 5 days in a row, 5 6 days in a row, it's like I'm drained faster. But when I'm with them, it pulls energy into me, pours energy into me. And I've noticed the difference. So that's my purpose. That's my purpose, is to be for my children, to do for my children. It is hard. It really is hard, especially where I'm coming from. Like I owe everybody. I owe everybody, and I'm behind on that. So it's like now that I have, and I've only been on my job, and that's what I got to keep telling myself. And that's what my best friend said. He said we got to be thankful for what we have. And I was like, man, that's what I always think. I'm like, I am thankful for my job, and thankful for all the lessons and all the people that came in my life, the hard lessons and good lessons. I'm thankful for those. Yet, I have to take control of my nervous system and my anxiety and my fear and can take control of that, so I can move on to the next, because I got these little bodies looking up to me. Even my 21-year-old, I got them looking up to me for guidance. So I really have to step myself up and get out of this, I want to say this negative magnetic pull that's pulling me down or holding me back. I have to reverse the poles and actually attract what it is that I want and need in my life, and use the data that I'm getting from everyday life to really pull from that to see. Y'all know I love trading too, day trading. And that's one of my biggest things that I really want to focus more on, is my day trading. Now that I'm where I am, I see certain things. It's like, man, I really got to look at the trends, look at the structure, look at where the money's going, look at where things are going, and use that to see what I can do to better my financial situation. And things are changing. Things are really changing. And it's evident, with all the stuff going on around us, man. We just really have to, really have to dig deep. I say that and I took a breath. Dig deep within ourselves to get what we want. And that's what me and my friend and my friends were talking about. It's like, man, we only got one life here, and why use it, or why, I'm trying to think of the word, why not do it the best that you can be all that you can be? Why not try and continue to try? Yes, it may be me saying that I feel the tiredness, the frustration, the anxiety, the days that you want to just quit and lay in the bed. And I've been doing that. Like I said, I've been on this job for a month, and I've been 2 weeks up an hour, and now it's been 2 weeks going on my third week here in the office. And sometimes I'm sitting there and like, man, I've pretty much had to relearn, or not relearn, but forget what I learned. I almost forget 80% of what I learned up there, because the stuff is so different down here. And then it feels like I'm having to start all the way over. Yet, I'm big on hands-on, so I'm having to really, me sitting behind somebody watching them, it's good to do, but it's not. It's time for me to shift myself. And part of that is me, you know, my fear, or me getting out of that fear and anxiety of overly pushing myself and just concentrate on what it is that I need and what I need to do. But anyway, I don't want to say too long on everything. It's just like we really have to strip a lot of things from ourselves, or maintain it until we can get rid of it. You know, and that's one of the main things with fear, and me having control over our systems. You know, and that's internally and externally. You know, we really have to have control, or find control in that, and those are through everyday, day-to-day things. And it's like we have to make those changes. We just really have to make those changes within ourselves. Y'all stay tuned. Growth is happening. Energy is shifting. Things are moving. You know, whatever you believe in that. Hold that tight to you, close to you, and be thankful for what it is that you have. And let's make the world change, make things change for the better for us, and find ways to create the systems and alignment that we need to keep ourselves motivated and moving forward with our lives. This is Mr. Anderson, and I approve this message.